it with music, beautiful music. Hello, I'm Fred Miller, and this is yet another lecture in song. And before we delve into the life and career of the great lyricist Dorothy Fields, a little bit about me. I was born in Albuquerque, loved classical music, studied classical piano, and as a kid loved grand opera. And then the day I turned into a teenager, my 13th birthday, the Beatles arrived very conveniently, and like a halfway normal teenager, I delved myself deeply into the great rock songs of the 60s that went on through high school. The summer after I graduated, a friend showed me this poster, I think it was in the paper or some magazine, about this big rock festival taking place in upstate New York. And we looked at that lineup and we just had to go. And so the two of us hitchhiked most of the way from New Mexico to the Woodstock Festival. I'm even in the poster there. But that was it for rock music. It was the peak of the rock age. Let's face it, Woodstock was it. I had never wanted to be a rock musician. I thought maybe be a classical musician, but that didn't seem likely. I wanted to be a musician. I went to college very briefly, then traveled around the country and finally ended up in Manhattan in Greenwich Village. And at some point somebody gave me an album of Ella Fitzgerald singing Cole Porter, and there was my music. The world of Gershwin, Porter, Kern, Rogers, Berlin, Fred Astaire, Judy Garland, Ethel Merman, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, what they call now the Great American Songbook. I came up with the idea of a lecture in song, sort of profiling some great personality or some aspect of American popular song. I started with just two categories, the performers and songwriters, and I thought, I'll have 10 programs out of this. But then over the years, it's expanded to 7 different categories, and now to date, 75 different lectures in song. This one devoted to Dorothy Fields. 1905 to 1974. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. Not how you go, it's how you land. Well, that's from her very last show. She began as a showbiz kid. I mean, her father was a very famous vaudevillian, and there were 4 kids in the family. 3 of them went into show business, and she finished as maybe the most important woman of her time in American songwriting. There were other women, Dorothy Donnelly, Rita Johnson Young, Ann Caldwell, Anne Rennell, Dana Suisse, later the clever ladies like Sylvia Fine, Betty Comden. Some of I've profiled them in the Great Lady Songwriters. But Dorothy Fields, to give you some idea of her importance, well, in 1971, they started a American Songwriters Hall of Fame, and the first 10 inductees were considered the greatest 10 greatest living songwriters, and that included Irving Berlin, Richard Rodgers, Ira Gershwin, Johnny Mercer, Harold Arlen, Duke Ellington, Burton Lane, and Dorothy Fields, in that kind of company. She wrote in her time over 400 songs, and there was a hit, I think, in every decade, starting in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even the 70s. She was not cynically clever, say, like a Dorothy Parker. She was feminine, something distinctly feminine, and sensible, optimistic, forthright, savvy, artless, made it look easy. I remember my days of solitude when it was folly to dream, when my heartbeat was not requiring a great expiring theme. But today my dark heart is breaking, music deep inside me is waking. I feel a song coming on, and I'm warning ya, it's a victorious, happy and glorious new strain. I feel a song coming on, it's a melody